Welcome, welcome to Grown Men Chopping It Up with J.R. Ryder and Kerry with the K. This is a grown-up place for grown-up talk. Put the kids to bed and crank up the volume. And let's get to it.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Kentucky Lawnmower. When a guy is getting a girl doggy style, he reaches forward and knocks her arms out from under her, then pushes her across the room while he's still fucking her.
Does he make noises like a lawnmower?
He probably should.
Hey, so here another podcast.
Back at it again.
So we had D on last time. We got some pretty good feedback.
Yeah, I wonder how he felt about it.
He said he loved doing it. He said he had a ball. So I asked a couple people, what did they think? And there was some good feedback.
Good.
First person said, the other guy was funny. Yes, I was cracking up. LOL. I like Kerry. We're on the same page. And I think they were talking about the of public affection. Person 2 said, you forgot about Leechin' Larry and Red Cup Ray Leeching.
Damn it. Not Red Cup.
I said, who is that? Larry loves to live off his woman and has no goals or ambition in life. And Red Cup Ray is an alcoholic, a couple of DUIs in his lifetime, and a suspended license.
Damn it.
So far, so good. I'm entertained. LOL.
That's funny.
So you forgot, Leech and Larry.
I gotta remember that.
And Red Cup Ray.
I think they cultivate Leech and Larry.
Person number 3 said, it was okay. Interested in how this will be concluded because we broke it into 2 episodes.
Right.
So hopefully they got their answer and hopefully they like the second part. Person 4, yeah, not being funny or anything, Jamesy. I typically enjoy you and Kerry podcast. Just kind of got the impression your guest was a little pretentious.
Whoa.
Really? I don't even know what that means. Not a big fan of that, but it hasn't concluded yet, so I'll have to hear how it ends.
I kind of know what pretentious means, but it's negative for sure. It's like when somebody's it's like they're baiting you into something, like they're like they already know the outcome. They're trying to get you to get to it, but in a negative kind of way.
Yeah, I don't know what it means. I have to look it up later. My favorite part of the story is about your first time eating a box. And they put somebody crying. So I just listened. I guess they meant to the mindset of a black woman. I don't know how or who's giving you, me, and this type of information. I don't understand it from your experience because I don't understand how a man can speak for a woman. We say this black woman ain't bitter. We're more disappointed than anything. Okay, I don't know what. Fuck, I fucked that. So I think what she's saying, like, how do we understand? Because I guess you were talking about women's mindset,
right? Like I'm not qualified or something.
Right. So
I got a lot of brain synapses.
Yeah.
So man makes woman.
Right. So it's because that our brain and mind fires at such a high rate that we're able to comprehend what women are thinking.
Right, and I can hear dog whistles too because I'm just that good.
All right. Well, that was from last week. That's the recap. What do you think about what you heard about just those couple people?
I like the honest feedback for sure. Nobody likes to hear all positive, and I like to hear things I can improve.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really care. I'm right, you're wrong. That's all I know.
Right. That's the way it works.
Well, you got your first topic. Let's jump in it.
Well, see, that leads me right actually into my first topic. Is a term that's called misandry. Now, misandry means the hatred of men.
Okay.
Because I've been noticing more and more microaggressions toward men.
Ooh.
But I found it surprisingly little discussion on this trend because it's like we can't say nothing to nobody. They just, especially in this day and age right now. Mm-hmm. So there's the term misogyny is the hatred of women, but we're gonna talk about misandry, which is the hatred of men. By noticing the microaggressions directed against men, we can uncover a lot of hidden misandry. And here's a few examples. Women will say stuff like, men are womanizers, man whores, sluts. I've even heard women say things like, balls are gross, I hate them. If a woman overheard a man talking about vaginas being dirty and disgusting, she'd surely think that this was misogyny and microaggression. But why not the other way around? Many otherwise enlightened people seem to think that putting a man down by shaming him for the transgressions of a few criminal men or his inadequate physicality is a sort of privilege or entitlement.
Ooh.
They're not even aware of their misandry. So I'm here to fill it out for them.
All right. Lace them out.
It pathologizes men when we assume something is wrong with the guy who doesn't like sports, isn't tall, dark, and handsome, or otherwise doesn't fit a manly stereotype. It also pathologizes men when we assume the worst transgressions of a few are characteristics of all. It doesn't help women or blacks or LGBT individuals to engage in that sport of putting men down. We might begin by extending to our men the sensitivity about harm done by microaggressions. It should open the door to compassion and help us build a humane world. Now, the thing we have to do is stop talking about the hate of men so much, because so many women will talk about all guys are this and that as if they've had enough men to judge all guys.
Right. Definitely.
Usually when people do a study, they study hundreds of people. Now, are you telling us your vagina's had hundreds of men? So now you know what all guys are like?
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what she just said. Like, how do we know how all women's like? Well, we have been in all vaginas.
Mm-hmm. We are from a vagina.
Yeah, and we've been in a lot of them.
It's ridiculous. We often think of patriarchy, which is fatherhood, as hurting women, but we don't talk about how it also hurts men. Patriarchy includes a rigid standard of looks and behavior, and when men who fail to follow the standard are tormented ruthlessly. Conforming men may be blind to their privilege, but nerds and sissies are fair targets for contempt. A man who dares not to be manly is scorned by women as well as men. Those crybabies deserve what they get.
Yeah, crying ass.
That's what they think.
Crying ass.
Like, most people are well-intended and do not mean to be offensive at all, but here's some of those microaggressions against men who aren't considered manly. They'll say stuff like, why do you sound white? A guy that's talking proper and not in the slang that we're used to may not seem as manly to some.
He's not.
A guy that spells things correctly.
That's gay too.
That's ridiculous. He'll say, I'm not being homophobic. You're being too sensitive.
Right. You're being gay.
Right. So who's the man in the relationship?
Yeah.
These are things that are said to these guys.
Yeah, I say it to him too. Oh wait, I'm not helping.
Wait. It says, you are so Jack on Will and Grace or Cam on Modern Family. Don't watch either of those shows.
I love both of those shows.
Sounds like they're saying he's gay.
Yeah, because the guys are gay.
But just to make it fair, there are some verbal microaggressions that I've heard against women, and a few of those are, I wouldn't work for a woman.
Right, I wouldn't work for a woman.
The other one is, if you dress like a slut, you're asking for it.
You are. Hey, I like this thing.
You're almost begging for it, right?
Yeah, you're begging for it.
You're being too emotional. You need to look at this logically.
Right.
Can they do that?
No.
I don't think so. Brains don't work that way.
No.
Then the other one is, I'm impressed that a woman could do that.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying these are the kind of terms that people say to women, and it's offensive. Okay.
And that the reverse, they wouldn't say that men aren't able to say these things, but women will turn around and say those other microaggressive things against men and think there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
And then, of course, the one we always joke about, why don't you just get back in the kitchen?
It sounds like facts.
But here, some of the microaggressions against men, the biggest ones are men only thinks with their dicks. That's wrong. A man wouldn't understand. Men just want a hole to put it in. Men can't hear the word no.
No.
Men are obsessed with lesbian porn.
Yes.
Really? You don't like sports? He's, artistic. Now they're implying that you're gay.
Artistic.
They say stuff like, be a man.
Yeah.
What do they know about being a man? They're a woman.
Right.
Men are womanizers, man whores, and man sluts. And those are just some of the things. So I think the term misandry, although it's being newly introduced, makes a lot of sense. And I think for the future, women should think about the things that they say that are reverse misogyny.
Yeah.
And that's what they are.
So, like, men, we're sensitive too.
Mm-hmm.
You say these things, and it's common practice, like you said. I always say it, I don't trust a guy who don't watch sports.
And everybody tells everyone, be a man.
Yeah, be a man. Step up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard for, African American men, because we're taught from an early age not to cry.
Yep.
Like I was telling somebody the other day, the way you become a man is that you're a kid and you're outside and you start crying. And somebody tells you you can't cry no more.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, you realize that, okay, well, I'm not in the house. I can't cry no more. And then from then, we just become tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And, you get these people who are emotionally stunted because they've never cried. I tell people all the time, crying, it clears your soul, so they say.
Yeah.
Endorphins are released, and then you feel better. As black men, we hold so much stuff in our head that... that's where we end up with high blood pressure and all these other things. They call it the silent killer.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we don't have a way to let these emotions out. Some people do it with drinking. Some people do it with womanizing. Somebody does, whatever the reason that they don't know how to express themselves.
Right.
Because I'm not crying for anything.
And then the women will tell you, oh, it's okay to cry in front of me, but as soon as you do, you're a sissy.
Yeah, crying ass.
Don't do it. Don't fall for it.
I'm too big to be crying anyway.
If you cry, don't let nobody know but you.
Yeah, wasn't it men crying in the dark or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not even crying in the dark. I feel bad. Let's go into my first topic. It's a couple worst reasons why people get married.
Whoa.
So I think off top, people don't realize that marriage is a business arrangement, right? Because if you love somebody back in slave days, they jumped over a broom, right?
Yep.
And there were things like that they did. If you love somebody, you love them. Marriage is just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
In certain. The reason why you get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get married in a church, you're getting married for God, right? If you get married, on the block, you just get married because you want to. But here go a couple of things that I was thinking about are really horrible reasons to get married.
Because their butt's big.
And I mainly hear this from women more than men. But number one I was thinking about is to have a dream wedding. So some women have thought about their wedding ever since they were little kids. So it's not even important to who they're getting married to. Mm-hmm. It's more about having that dream wedding. But they don't realize that the wedding is where the work starts after. Mm-hmm. Marriage is not happily ever after. Marriage is once upon a time.
Right.
And I think just having that dream wedding and you drive everybody else crazy because you want a perfect dress, you want this, you want that, you kind of leave the guy out. And you guys wonder why the wedding is, the marriage isn't successful because you had a dream wedding. You didn't know what his dreams were.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of guys have dream weddings unless they're marrying other guys. My dream wedding for my guy.
Number two, to get a bunch of presents.
Yeah.
Some people, they think they go to other people's weddings, they see all the gifts and presents and everything.
Toaster oven.
Yeah, and they want it. Like, that's not a good reason to get married.
Yeah. Especially if your friends have good jobs.
You want to marry into money or you want to marry this and you want the... It's a lot of imaging that goes on. Mm-hmm. And I think there's another thing that's really for the woman and the guy gets drug in. This is the reason that I was thinking is the worst reason to get married. Loneliness. You hear so many people, guys and girls, say, well, I want to get married because I'll have somebody then. I'll have this. I'll have that. You have to fix that part of yourself first and be okay with you. So then now you're just bringing extra to the table.
That's true.
Instead of, this person is going to solve everything. And you see them and then this is a red flag where you know that they both give up their lives that they had prior for this.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a hobby. It was so many guys where I play basketball with the same group of guys for like 10, 15 years. And we would have guys who get married and then they fall off. They don't come back and play basketball no more. And then when they're getting in trouble with their relationship or they're about to be divorced or separate, they show back up. And you stop doing, it's
the things you enjoy.
You stop doing the things you enjoy. But also you got to realize the reason why you got her or the reason why you got him was whatever you were doing in your life gave a certain aura about yourself off. If you went out and played basketball, you got gritty with the dudes. You was blocking shots. You brought that home and it gave you a certain kind of swag.
Pheromones.
Now you're just behind her at the mall, she can't go do nothing she want to do. You can't do nothing. You know what I mean? You lose that swag was the reason why they liked each other.
Yeah, because a lot of those clothing stores where the women buy clothes, they don't have chairs for us to sit in.
You shouldn't even be there. I'm not even going with her to the mall. Well, I'm not going. Not at all. Maybe if we're going to get some shoes.
See?
Tennis shoes. That's fast. We can do anything.
Take a picture and send it to me.
Go with your girlfriends. Because like I said, I think that's the biggest problem. People think that they're lonely, but there's plenty of powerful people who've never got married.
Yeah.
Oprah,
yeah.
Condoleezza Rice, Bill Maher, Al Pacino, never got married.
See?
And these people are perfectly fine. Well, I don't know if they're perfectly fine. They seem like they're perfectly
They seem happy.
Yeah, but you don't know. First, build your own self-esteem up and don't look for somebody else to build your self-esteem up.
Right.
Build it up yourself.
You're supposed to build it.
But if you build your self-esteem up yourself, nobody can ever take that away. I was telling somebody the other day, they were like, you've always been a person who like yourself, cocky. And I was like, when I was young, it was fake cocky. I didn't like myself. I like myself a little bit.
Fake it till you make it.
As I got older and as I told myself these things, when I had a bad situation, my girl cheat on me, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm a fly-ass dude. She the one that messed up. And those things, I kept telling myself things like that, and it never broke me down. It made me keep my self-esteem up until when I really started to like myself, I was already prepared. And it's funny how other people thought I liked myself more than I actually did. You know what I mean? Another reason I think is bad is because you feel pressure. Somebody could be in a relationship, let's say 20 years, and they're perfectly fine without being married. It's not in their belief system.
Right.
They believe it's just a piece of paper. They believe it doesn't mean nothing. I love you, you love me. Why do we have to have these things? And then everybody around them is pressuring them based on their life.
Right.
I had a homeboy tell me he was in church. Everybody told him that he had to get married because he was in church. Half those people was divorced.
Right.
Now, he should have just listened to what he was thinking.
Instead of forcing it. Don't do anything because of pressure. But I tell you guys, if you ever want your girl to say yes when you propose to her, I figured out the way. Yeah. You invite her parents to dinner with you guys. Uh-oh.
There's no way she can say no if her parents are there.
Damn it.
All right. Next reason why I was thinking is when everybody's friends are married. Like me personally, all my close friends, they're all married. That has no effect on me.
Right. It's not contagious.
It's not. Because I see what they go through and I think, do I want to go through that? Sometime, maybe one day. But I don't feel pressure because of that. And I would never pressure them into anything. Whatever I do because I'm single has nothing to do with what they do because they're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And I say single because you're single until you're married.
That's right. Even while you're dating, you're single.
If you're dating, you're still dating, but you're still single.
Even though black people don't think so.
Then here goes one where I see a lot of people, and you probably can back me up on this. Your ex is engaged. So some people, they're in long-term relationships, and they don't understand how men men think, right? A man can be dating a girl for, let's say, 10 years and never want to get married.
Right.
And meet somebody else and want to get married. You know, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, men, the way we think is this. We have a vision in our mind of what we think our wife should be.
Yeah. Not our wedding, but our wife.
Our wife. And we can be with this person where I like you. You're hella cool. I think you're cute. I like hanging out with you. But you know what? You don't fit all the boxes. But you're not that bad. So I want to hang out with you. I don't mind being with you.
Damn it.
And then once we finally get sick of the dirty headscarf, we get sick of the lumberjack pajamas. We get sick of you know, you forgetting things. You know, you actually record the game. You don't record the after show. The game goes into overtime, and I don't get the end. We sick of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we sick of blowjobs only on our birthday. And we find somebody who wakes us up giving us a blowjob.
Right.
We
wake
find,
up with your dick wet.
Yeah. And we find somebody who fits all of those categories. A man can snap his fingers and be married. Because marriage is a choice.
Right.
You choose to be married.
Yeah, you don't choose slavery, but you choose to be married.
Right. It's not about no magical feeling that makes you feel like, oh, I can't live without that person. And when people say stupid shit like, oh, I want to get married because I want somebody to grow old with. You might grow old, but you guys are not going to die at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? We've done the study. Married men live longer
Right.
than married women. So she's going to croak. So you're gonna be by yourself at some point. So, so don't get engaged because somebody else. This is kind of old school, but it's sex. Some people get married because a religion tells them,
Damn it.
you can't have sex if you're not married.
Fuck.
And so, I mean, it's a good reason, but it's not like it used to be. Back in the day, you know, people. The first time they had sex a lot of times was when they got married.
Wow.
You know, you met somebody. There were stages to this shit, which none of you people do now. And we did a show a long time ago about this. It used to be courting. Courting is not dating.
Right.
Courting is you're doing your fact finding.
That's right.
You're going to talk to the friends. You're going to find out what they do and what they about and who they are. You know, it's a process.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be alone with the girl. It's all kinds of these things that you got to do in order to get through courting.
Right.
Courting turned into dating. Dating is still no sex.
Right.
Dating is now you actually are interacting with each other. You're going out. You're doing things. You're in each other's presence. You know. Then there came engagement, and then there was marriage.
Yep.
Then there was sex. So a lot of you people are doing everything in marriage during dating.
That's
So
wrong.
your marriage doesn't work because you have done everything you should have went through in marriage.
Yeah.
You done it all in dating. So because you've done everything, what do you have to look forward to? And that's when people start to get bored.
Yeah, more
That's
of the same.
Yeah, that's when people start to want side chicks and side dudes. And that's when they want to do threesomes and they want to do that. But if you think about it, if you go through the process the way that it's set up, you have so much more to look forward to in your marriage.
Right.
Because everything is new instead of everything being just boring because you've done it all. So that was it. And, you know, kids. Getting married just to have kids is bad.
Yeah.
Because I can think of 10 people right off the top who got married, had kids, and stayed together only for the kids.
Yeah.
And soon as that kid hit 18, soon as that kid hit 17, and soon as that kid went away to college, the kid was removed from the scenario and they realized they didn't even know each other.
Yep.
Because the kids were always a blocker. The guy went to work every day, bust his butt, working job, that once now that was all taken away and I got to sit here and actually have a conversation with you that doesn't involve the kids, I don't even like you.
Yeah, it's like, what? You think that? I hate you.
Now, money. Getting married for money. Now, I don't know how bad an idea that is. at least you have a solid plan, right? You know what you're there for.
You're here to buy some happiness.
Yeah, but I think then that's when the work got to come in. When you're only in the marriage for singular reasons, once those reasons are fulfilled or not fulfilled, that's when you start to have problems. Because you're not in it for a total reason. You're in for a singular reason.
Like an amoeba.
Yeah, amoeba.
A single-celled amoeba.
One way I think is really bad too is if your parents are forcing you to get married.
Yeah.
Like they're just on your neck and they're basically like, hey, I want you to get married. I want you to get married. I heard somebody say, we're parents, we're getting older, and before we leave this earth, we want to make sure you get with somebody.
What?
Not
my problem.
It's a bad way to look at it, I think. So pretty much that's it. I just think there's I think there's good reasons for marriage, and I think there's bad reasons for marriage, and I think you have to almost have what your plan is.
Yeah.
And make sure that other person's is in it too for the right reasons. And if a person can't tell you the reasons that they want to get married to you, then don't do it just because you feel pressure for kids, for money. I don't want to be alone. Oh, I'm getting older. We hear that a lot of times. Oh, I'm getting older. My eggs are drying up. I think there's good reasons. What do you think is a good reason to get married?
Most people would say like love.
Okay.
But in any relationship, love is not enough. You have to have things to go with love, like respect, admiration for each other. The compatibility. Because compatibility is actually going to be there your entire relationship. Because when you're both old, and let's say your dick don't work no more and her pussy dry, you're going to need more than that. So compatibility is we can have conversations about stuff that I like or you like or that we like together. It's like about communicating. So you have to have communication and other things to go along with love.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap that up. What's your next topic?
That's right. My topic actually deals with strategies to improve communication.
Ooh.
Just walk right into it.
Boom.
One of the first ones is create your own marriage and relationship rules. People don't always know how to start this process, but they really like the idea. So they find it eye-opening and beneficial, and it helps create conversation about their relationship. Now, the first thing you do is before you get into any discussion, determine what the emotional mood you're in, and then communicate that to the other person. Ask them, is this a good time to talk? If not, ask when it might be a good time. Schedule a time, and then both people need to honor the plan. Another tactic is forego technology one night a week. Research has proven that the overuse of technology can negatively affect relationships.
That's a good one right there.
Yep, because there's been times where I get off work, she gets off work, and we're in the house, but we're not talking to each other. We're both on our phones.
Right.
Hey, look at this. But we're showing each other what we're looking at. Like, oh, this is funny. Laugh at this. When we could actually either be sitting there talking to each other or reading a book or something.
Yeah. I found that too. Like, it was like an eye-opening experience. If you're driving with somebody and they're on their phone, and let's say it's a road trip or something, you're not living in the moment. You know what I mean? You're like doing other stuff.
Yeah.
But you're not in the actual moment.
Right.
Like that's time where you could be communicating and things like that.
Yeah, because one of the things I do when we go on road trips or even when we're driving is whoever's not driving controls the music. So it's like it's your job to entertain us by playing the songs that we want to hear.
Yeah, that's dope.
So we'll get on Bluetooth and say, oh, remember this song? We'll talk about it and stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps, working, cause especially if you're driving at night, somebody has to stay awake and help you stay awake while you're driving.
Yeah, except going in the passenger seat and just falling out.
I'm offended if you're over there asleep.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yep. The other one is request an apology if you think you deserve one. Be the one to extend the olive branch once in a while.
Yes.
You can, if you think you deserve an apology, tell her why.
Right, and even with the arguing, I say argument is not the problem.
Right.
It's the get back. Like everybody argues and everybody disagrees, but the get back is what's the most important.
Yep.
You know, like, can you shake out of your bad mood and your funky attitude? You know, can you bring it back? How do you bring it back?
Yeah. We actually do that a lot. I think one day last week, I said something to her to Steph that offended her. Okay, no, here's what it was. I asked her to make something to eat for me. I can't remember what it is right now.
Some oxtails.
It was something simple.
Okay.
So, but when I got off, I said, "Oh yeah, I want this to eat, whatever." So then, she took a bath, whatever, and did all this. So she said, "Oh, so what you about to do?" And I was like, "I'm about to eat the food that you cooked for me," but she hadn't made anything, so that upset her, and I could tell. So she walked in the kitchen, threw some pans around, right?
Right.
And so I'm thinking, out of all the shit that I say to her, that offended her.
Right.
So when she came back in, I noticed on her face that she pulled herself back in, and I said, "I know that offended you what I said, but I was wondering why." Mm-hmm. And she said, "I was too." I was like, "I must have been in my feelings, so I just got out of them. No big deal." So that averted an argument over something senseless.
Right, and I always tell people everything isn't an argument to go to. Everything doesn't have to go from 0 to 60. Mm-hmm. That's a good communication right there.
Yeah. You can't buy that shit.
Yeah, because it could have went left.
Oh yeah, it could have been you using me to eat, make your food. I'm not your slave.
And then you come back with, why aren't you my slave?
Right, I married you so you could be my slave.
Right.
Why are you wearing shoes in the kitchen?
Right.
Another way is if your partner is making an honest attempt to repair the relationship, then try and make a physical connection. It's like, don't knock a nigga for trying.
Right. If he put, I like that.
You see the guys working on it, don't smack him upside the head.
Right.
The next one is negotiating. That's English.
I don't even know what language that was.
Emaciated.
Right. You gonna kill them?
Negotiating is not the same as complaining. Yeah. Negotiating means that you state clearly, without fighting or blaming, how the status quo needs to change, embarking in a new direction.
Right.
It's not an argument if I'm telling you what you got to change.
You can have discussions all day.
All day.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Yep. The next one is learn how to self-regulate. By this, I mean manage your own emotions. Right. You're responsible for yourself, not anyone else.
Yeah, that goes right back to what we just said. Like, you pull yourself out the shit.
Yeah, she saw that, I'm talking the way I always do.
Yeah.
So why is this got to be an argument? She regulated her own emotions.
Right. That's why I never believe in let's work it out. Like, don't ever come to me talking about let's have a let's work it out talk. Because when you do it, I'm going to be like, no, fuck you. I'm not doing it. Because let's work it out. Stop doing whatever the fuck annoys me.
Right.
Stop, you know what I mean? Like, that's let's work it out. Stop doing stuff that's making shit worse.
Yep.
Like, that's let's work it out. I don't believe in that shit. I tell people that and they be so like, really?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm like, no. If you wanted to work shit out, you would have fucking went in the kitchen and made the chicken with no shoes on.
Exactly. No shoes in the kitchen.
Right. Ooh,
now,
sorry.
The next one is use your energy to take care of yourself and not to try and manage the other person.
Right.
This does not work, and it's also just as futile as mind reading.
Yes.
You take care of your damn self.
Right.
Because if everybody's, it's like a coach calls a play.
Right.
Everybody knows what they're supposed to do.
They know
you never have to do it again.
Right.
And so when you get in a relationship, you tell them what you expect. If you don't get that, you broke the deal.
Wow. You should tell them up front.
Yeah. This is what I expect. This is what I'm expecting at this stage, though, because you can't expect everything in the beginning.
Right. Okay.
You gain the trust. You gain the you might not want to give her no money right off top because you don't know how she is with money. But as time goes on, if she proves to be responsible, here's some money.
But what if you want your butt licked?
You can ask her that too.
You can't ask her up front.
No, not up front, because you gotta actually butt licking and even fucking in the butt.
Right.
It has to come later.
Right. You can't start from day one.
Yeah, you can't surprise her.
Yeah, right.
But like we said in the other podcast, what I do back there is my business.
Right.
If I'm behind her, then I do what I want to.
Right. She gotta catch up.
Right.
Yeah.
The next one is have respect. If they ask you to do something, do it. Woo, that's hard. They must be talking to the woman.
Yeah. But it goes both ways. Like sometimes, there's shit broke around the house. We just don't want to fix it.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell, it's stuff right now I gotta fix.
Yeah.
But I know I have to fix it.
Yeah.
So don't nag me about it.
Yeah, it's coming.
The last one is learn how not to take things personally all the time.
Right.
I see this often, and it prevents a person from taking ownership where it's needed and discarded ownership of an issue when it's not warranted. It's not always about you.
Man. That's deep. I remember telling somebody, do you want to be right or do you want to be with me? And it is my favorite line in this Sade song is, I tell you you're right when you're wrong. And I love that line because to me, it's like you could know, like I do this, I do this with some of my younger coworkers, right? I'll tell them how to fix something, right? So I'll say, you know what? If you're going to do that, you might want to do 1, 2, 3. And they'll go, no, I think it should go like this.
Wow.
I know that I'm right. But I'll take a step back and be like, okay, go ahead. And then they'll do it. And then they'll see in that process that I'm right.
Yep.
And it's not about like, I'm not going to badger you to, who was that? I'm not going to badger you to get my point across. You know, sometimes being quiet and not making a person feel bad. And the other thing that I do is if you're right and I'm wrong, we could be in the middle of me and you discussing something. And I thought I was right. I thought the sun was purple. I'm looking at it. It looked purple. I told you it was purple. But then you say, no, it's yellow.
Right.
And I find out that it's yellow. What I will do was just as adamantly as I was when I thought I was right, I'd be just as adamantly as when I was wrong. Hey, I'm wrong. My bad. You was right. And if you do that, it opens up a lot of communication because I do it because I want the person to also do that.
Right.
So if I open up that door by me being vulnerable and saying that you were right, hopefully you will do the same thing. So that's one of the things that I try to do to help with communication and stuff.
Yeah.
Because some people have never had communication, so they don't understand it.
Yeah, it's foreign to them. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, people think that arguing and fighting is a normal aspect of a relationship, which is not.
Right. Because the saying goes, all couples fight.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to accept that kind of energy into your relationship.
Yeah.
You can change it. You could change the narrative. You know, you can be that relationship with like, yeah, nothing is perfect. But it's just like with your homeboys. Like, I don't think me and you've really ever had an argument.
No. There's no need to.
Right. I mean, you either say what you believe and I say what it is. And if we ever do something to hurt each other's feelings, we probably didn't know that we were hurting the person's feelings anyway.
Right.
And we didn't even know what that was. So you're not going to hold something against me because you probably know that I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And I wasn't going to hold it against you because you won't know unless I tell you.
Yeah.
And if I ever say it, like, that was fucked up, you'll be like, okay, well, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Or you was like, yeah, well, that's fucked up. Stop being a little punk.
Which helps you get out of it.
And it helps you get out of it because then I got to say, well, am I being a little punk? Well, probably I am. But it could be like other things that are going on that got me in my feelings.
Right. It adds to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was a really good topic.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean,
well, there's something I found on Facebook. The title is "Black Women Don't Need Black Men?" ?
Okay.
And I guess this girl's gonna talk something about that. Something around about that.
Right.
As a black woman, I would never fix my mouth to say that I don't need a man. And more specifically, a black man. I'm sorry, sisters, but it is this same kind of thinking that leaves us with broken homes and a bunch of kids that are mentally and emotionally damaged and confused. If we have a bunch of black women running around talking about how black men ain't shit and how they don't need them, what do you think our daughters will start to internalize? What do you think our sons will start to believe and think of themselves? We have to stop putting all black men into a box based upon the mistakes of a select few that we chose to be with. Because not all black men are niggas. Not all black men are savages and heathens. A lot of them are kings. And I'd be damned if I start running around acting like I don't need me a strong black man to help me raise up my strong black babies.
Woo! That's a message to the black woman.
Wow.
Because a lot of times you see on Facebook nowadays, or even social media in general, how women are always talking about, black men are dogs and black men always doing this, that, and the other. And I think it's divisive because it's not creating a dialogue between us. It's bringing us farther apart.
But men is niggas.
Yeah, and a nigga is not actually anything negative. Nigga's a nigga.
Them some niggas.
Sometimes you need to be a nigga.
All right, man. Want to wrap up this podcast?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Hey, until next week, you can find us where? We're everywhere now, right?
Yeah, I got to actually write down everywhere we're at. We're actually everywhere. Spotify, Google Play, Twitter, Instagram. We're
Google Music.
Yeah, you can actually just Google Grown Men Chopping It Up, and it'll pop up everywhere we are. So wherever you listen to music at, we there.
Yeah, we there. We in the house.
You know what I'm talking about?
We got hats and stuff, but we like them so much, we're not going to sell them.
right. To all those people who didn't get a shirt, which is most of you.
Yeah. Okay, until next week.
All right.
Oh, well, 2 weeks. We do it every 2 weeks, right?
Right, every 2 weeks.
All right, every 2 weeks. So that concludes our show tonight. We know there's a lot of podcasts you could be listening to.
And should be listening to.
So we thank you for riding with us. I'm J.R. Rydha.
And I'm Kerry with a K. Make sure you look us up on Facebook or Instagram or get at us on grownmenchoppingitup@gmail.com. That's spelled out GROWNMENCHOPPINGITUP. And remember, everybody kneeling ain't praying.
Peace.